whether someone is doing whack-a-mole and switching addictions or suppressing. I love the beach ball, pushing it under the water, which is the suppression, or the purge. I'm going to come to the question. The question is more of, so we've identified all these definitions. The question is, I see my loved one in this pattern of using behavior, not using behavior. How can I tell if the phase, is it a phase of not using the behavior? Or could it be true recovery, sobriety at work, and good things are happening? How can I tell the difference? So in my mind, this question is, now that we've defined the options, is how do I know if this is on the true and headed in a good direction?
Well,
Or should I be on the lookout? What do you think, Dan?
you're getting Tim was about to talk.
Yep.
Nice. That was intentional. What do I think? Well, I was thinking a couple other things. Another way to look at it, sometimes I'll say we can all hold our breath for different lengths of time.
Mm.
So sometimes, and I think of it, we talk about a sex addictive cycle. There's Carnes has his cycle, in a lot of the books and resources. I think of a binge purge like a macro cycle. Like how long do I go between acting out cycles? That's kind of how I see it. I'm with you, Tim. I think a year and a half would be a long time to suppress behaviors. Uh, that said, I think there's other things. It's not just sexually. I think this shows up in intimacy. Some of the tells I would see, is the person. I would have a hard time thinking someone's in full recovery if they're kind of shutting down their own vulnerability and connection with themselves and others, their spirituality. I feel like you're going to see probably suppression in a bunch of different areas. How emotionally open are they in their with their partner or their relationship, or are they connected and not isolating? Some of those things. How they some of the maintenance steps, 10, 11, 12, are they engaging those? Are they looking at where they're at fault and promptly admitting them? Are they keeping conscious contact with their higher power? Those are the things I would see if someone in active recovery, versus if one's, whatever we're going to call it, in a purge phase, or if they're suppressing the behaviors. I think there's going to be some other tells along the way that you'd start to see. Everybody's different though, so I'm curious, Tim, what you guys would say. Sometimes you can't see it from somebody.
I so the one of the things that we've talked on this program about in the past is, the difference between sobriety and recovery. And my shorthand for that is sobriety is about what we don't do, and recovery is about what we do.
Mhm.
And I don't know that I've actually thought about this before, but it's coming to my mind. So I'm going to share it and I'm going to vomit it out here unfiltered. But because of that, I think because they're separate things, because one's about what we don't do and one's about what we do, I think you can be working on recovery. I think it'll be hampered if you're not sober, but I think you can be working on it if you're not sober. And I think you can be sober without being in recovery. That we know. We talk about that as being the dry drunk.
Mhm.
And so with this person, how do I know if he's in recovery? I think it's actually two separate questions. How do I know if he's actively working on sobriety? Well, is he actively working on sobriety is he going to meetings? Is he making phone calls? Do you see him, if he struggles with online stuff, is he willing to have a filter on his computer and phone? If it's acting out in other ways, is he willing to have a GPS? What are the boundary barriers, whether they're externally um, externally imposed on him, or whether they're internally created by him? Is he willingly engaging in those boundaries, those barriers, those tools, looking for those red flags? And so if you're seeing him doing that, he may be struggling with sobriety, but he's working a program. The other question is he in recovery? Oh, well, so is he in recovery? Is he meditating? Do you see him leaning in and trying to be empathetic? Are you seeing, like you were talking, Dan, about, is he emotionally there? And I don't think you're going to get in recovery and immediately be completely emotionally available, but are we seeing progress in his leaning into being emotionally known? Is he more rigorously honest even when it's hard? So is he leaning into those things? And those things he might be doing and still may relapse from time to time, not because he's not working a good program, but because he's missing some of the boundaries or there's other pieces that he needs to put in place.